Okay, so let's just orient ourselves for a second. It is Monday, February 2nd, 2026.
Right.
And if you're looking at your calendar, you know that tomorrow, Tuesday the 3rd, is a pretty big day in the publishing world. We're looking at the pre-launch of Rewired, the collective narrative.
That's right. And, usually when we grab a book for a deep dive, we're talking about a finished product,
Yeah, something static.
something that sits nicely on a shelf. But looking at the stack of materials we have here, I mean, the slide decks, the market analysis from the last few quarters of 2024, the excerpts, it just feels different.
It feels urgent, doesn't it?
It really does. It feels like we aren't just reading a business book. We're looking at, I don't know, a survival guide for a landscape that's shifting under our feet right now.
And the central question here is just massive. It's not the usual stuff like, how do I optimize my Q1 revenue with ChatGPT?
Or which prompt makes me sound smarter in an email? No.
Exactly. The question this material is posing is, what does it mean to be human in an age of intelligent machines?
Which is, and I'm not exaggerating, the existential question of 2026.
It has to be. So here's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to parse through this material to understand this fundamental shift in leadership philosophy. We're going to look at the Space Kitty, and we will explain that in a second, I promise. But we're also going to look at some, frankly, terrifying economic data.
About NVIDIA and China.
Yeah, that explains why we even need the Space Kitty in the first place.
You have to. You can't have the philosophy without the economics. They're two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah.
The philosophy is the software, but the economics, that's the hardware it's running on.
Right. Well, let's start with the philosophy, and I have to say specifically the mascots, because I'm flipping through these slides expecting, charts, graphs,
The usual corporate deck.
a usual, maybe a Venn diagram or two, and then bam,
Yeah.
I'm staring at an astronaut cat,
The Space Kitty.
the Space Kitty. It's this incredible kind of absurd image of a cat in a full spacesuit with this caption, "Unleash the Space Kitty in you." So be honest with me. Is this just fluff?
I don't think so.
Is this just to sell more books?
I really don't. I think it's actually a very calculated cognitive trigger. Look at the caption right underneath the kitty.
I release all assumptions, exploring only with curiosity and a desire to understand.
Release all assumptions. Think about how hard that is for any of us to do, especially as a professional.
Impossible.
Almost. The core thesis Eve Simon is presenting in Rewired is that for the last, 10 years, basically since the AI boom really took off, we've been obsessed with workflows.
Oh, absolutely. We've automated the emails. We've optimized the supply chains. We've plugged AI into every socket we can find.
If it can be measured, we've tried to make a machine do it faster.
Right.
We've been trying to turn ourselves into better machines. We've been trying to outprocess the processors. And this source material argues we rarely, if ever, pause to ask, what is this doing to us? The quote that really stands out to me is, the AI revolution is not only reshaping how we work, it's rewiring what it means to be alive.
That hits hard. It suggests we need to stop trying to upgrade our RAM and maybe start upgrading our humanity.
Exactly. It's the move from redesigning workflows to redesigning worldviews. And that Space Kitty, it represents a state of mind. It's Shoshin, or beginner's mind, from Zen Buddhism.
Okay.
It's the ability to look at a familiar problem, your job, your market strategy, and see it like you've never seen it before.
Because if you come at AI with your 2015 assumptions or even your 2024 assumptions, you're going to lose.
You're dead in the water. And the slides map this out as a mindset shift. We're moving through 3 states. First, we had utopia. Remember the early 2020s?
Oh, yeah. AI will solve cancer. AI will write our code.
We'll all be on the beach drinking Mai Tais.
We were all going to have 4-day weekends. I remember that.
Right. Then there's the danger of dystopia, which we'll get to at the market stats. That's the fear of being made irrelevant. But the target state the book proposes is protopia.
Protopia. I've heard that term floating around. Can we define that? Is that just like utopia light?
No, it's actually much more practical. Protopia is a term from the futurist Kevin Kelly. It just means a state where today is slightly better than yesterday.
Just slightly.
It's not perfect. It even creates new problems as it solves old ones, but it is incrementally moving forward. It's about progress, not perfection.
And to get there, to get to protopia, the slides argue we have to shift from ownership to
Yep.
stewardship.
This is a really crucial distinction for leaders. Ownership is all about control. It's about possessing the asset, extracting value, defending your territory. It's very 20th century thinking.
This is my department. This is my data. Mine, mine, mine.
Right. Stewardship is different. Stewardship implies you're looking after something for the future. You're tending a garden. You don't just extract, you regenerate.
Hmm.
And in an AI world where, as the text says, roles are dissolving, you can't just own a job title. You have to steward a purpose.
Speaking of regenerating and creativity, I have to bring up the mojito line. It's my favorite thing of this entire deck.
I love that one.
Under the mindset section, it just says, if life gives you lemons, return them. Ask for a lime and make a mojito.
It's witty, but let's just unpack the agency in that for a second.
It's about refusing the premise, right? The old saying, make lemonade, is passive. It accepts you're stuck with lemon.
Precisely. It accepts the constraint.
It's like, okay, this bad thing happened. I guess I'll make the best of it.
This new version says, reject the constraint, negotiate, pivot. If the AI model or the market or your boss gives you a lemon, don't just optimize the lemon, ask for a lime. It's about proactive creativity.
Which brings us full circle, back to the space kitty.
Mm-hmm.
To even think of making the mojito, you have to be curious enough to ask, wait, do I have to accept these lemons? You have to be willing to look at the situation and say, I think I can make something better.
And that is the leadership capability for 2026. It's the ability to reject the default options that the algorithm or the market presents to you.
Okay, so we have the mindset. Be the space kitty, make the mojito, aim for protopia. But where did this mindset come from? Because the deep dive takes us on a very specific journey here. There's a section titled, My Pilgrimage to Silicon Valley.
Yes. And the visuals here, they change dramatically. We go from these fun cartoons to these really high-res shots of the Golden Gate Bridge and these almost sci-fi cityscapes.
Right.
The author describes this journey to the, quote, heart of the beast to understand the sandbox DNA.
Sandbox DNA. I like that term. But, I mean, Silicon Valley loves its buzzwords. The list here is stuff like dream big, bold curiosity, fail fast, iterate, play. We've heard these before.
We have.
Is there anything new here, or is this just the standard tech gospel?
It is the standard gospel, but I think the context has completely changed. 10 years ago, fail fast was the slogan for some software developers in a basement.
Sure.
Today, the source argues, this sandbox DNA has become the global operating system.
The slide uses the word tsunami.
The tsunami reached every region of the world, and it says, what happens in SF will not stay in SF. This is the key takeaway. You can't opt out of this mindset anymore.
So even if I'm running, I don't know, a logistics company in Ohio, or that bakery in Berlin that's mentioned in the notes,
You are still competing in a world defined by Silicon Valley's rules. Fail fast isn't just for coding apps anymore. It's for supply chains, for marketing strategies, for product launches.
so the cycle time of the entire world has sped up.
It's sped up to match the cycle time of a San Francisco startup.
Wow. That's exhausting just to think about.
It is, but the alternative, according to Rewired, is irrelevance. If you aren't playing in the sandbox, experimenting, iterating, playing with the tech, you're getting buried by the sand.
But this is where the deep dive takes a much darker turn. Because playing in the sandbox sounds fun, but the playground isn't exactly a public park, is it? It's owned by some very large, very powerful landlords.
This is the hard truth section. And honestly, this is where we all need to pay very close attention because the numbers here are staggering.
We've got this chart showing the big players. Let's look at the data center GPU's pie chart. So for you listening, just imagine a pizza. Now imagine one person eats 92% of it before you even open the box.
That person is NVIDIA.
92% market share. That's an estimate based on the first 3 quarters of 2024.
That is effectively a monopoly.
Right.
I mean, when one company controls 92% of the hardware that makes AI possible, you have a massive bottleneck. The entire global brain runs on chips from one company.
It's basically a single point of failure for the global economy. And then you look at the foundation models, the actual software brains like GPT or Gemini.
It's not much better. Microsoft is sitting at 39%. AWS, that's Amazon, has 19%. Google has 15%.
So quick math, that's nearly 75% of the foundational intelligence infrastructure controlled by just 3 corporations.
And this connects right back to that dystopia warning we saw earlier. The source material explicitly states, energy insecurity and the growing concentration of power in the hands of a few tech players are eroding confidence across systems.
It's not just about pricing. It's about power. If you're building a business on top of AI, you are building on rented land. And the landlords, Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, they can raise the rent, change the locks.
Or just evict you whenever they want. But wait, it gets even more complicated because there's another player entering the sandbox and they are not playing by Silicon Valley's rules.
China strategy.
Yeah.
There's a very specific warning in these slides that draws a parallel to steel dumping. Now, I'm not an economist, so walk me through this. What is steel dumping, and how on earth does that apply to AI?
Okay, so historically, dumping is when a country, usually with heavy government subsidies, floods a foreign market with a product like steel, priced way below what it costs to make.
So they're selling at a loss on purpose to kill the competition.
Exactly. The local manufacturers, they can't compete with those artificially low prices, so they go out of business. And once the competition is gone, the dumper owns the market.
And the source predicts AI dumping, meaning China just releases powerful AI models for dirt cheap.
The quote is, quality at a fraction of cost. Just imagine if China releases a model as good as GPT-6, but it costs 1/10 of the price to use.
Okay, but that sounds great for consumers, though. Cheap AI, who wouldn't want that?
In the short term, sure. But think about Microsoft and Google. They're spending billions with a B on R&D, on data centers, on energy to build these models. They need high margins to make that money back.
Right.
If a flood of cheap, state-subsidized AI comes in from the East, it collapses the entire price floor.
It destroys their business model.
It creates a race to the bottom on price. And the source warns this puts immense pressure on Western margins. It could even threaten a recession in the tech sector. It's geopolitical warfare fought with pricing.
That's terrifyingly plausible. So we get a monopoly on chips, an oligopoly on models, and a potential trade war that could crash the price of intelligence.
And in the middle of all that macro chaos is the average worker just trying to do their job.
And that's the emotional core of this, isn't it?
Yeah.
The slide says, roles are dissolving faster than they are redefined.
That line really stuck with me.
Me too. It's not just that jobs are changing, it's the speed. It feels like the floor is dissolving before you can even build the next platform to stand on.
It creates a gap. The source calls it the gap between excitement and anxiety. We see the press releases about how AI will save the world.
That's the excitement.
But in our daily lives, we feel the instability.
The anxiety, yeah. It says right here, jobs feel uncertain, and many people feel left behind rather than empowered. It feels like we're all standing on the beach watching that tsunami come in, and we're not sure if we have a surfboard or if we're just building sandcastles.
Which brings us back to the central question. What do we do? If we just redesign workflows in this environment, if we just try to work faster, we're doomed. We can't outwork the GPU monopoly or the AI dumping strategy.
You can't efficiency your way out of a paradigm shift.
No. So you need a different strategy. And this is where the book Rewired really pivots to the solution. And it's interesting that the solution isn't learn to code or buy more NVIDIA stock.
Yo.
The solution is collective wisdom.
Now, hold on. Collective wisdom sounds a little bit, a bit kumbaya.
A little soft.
This is just a nice way of saying have more meetings, because I think we all have enough meetings.
I hope not. The book frames it differently. First off, Eve Simon didn't write this alone. She specifically defines it as a collective narrative. She brought in 21 wisdom catalysts.
Wisdom catalyst. I like that title. It's better than consultant.
Much better. But look at where they're from. Germany, France, Spain, the UK, Sweden. It's a distributed network. And the argument here is wisdom is found in collective attunement, not individual genius. Wisdom isn't solitary, it is co-created.
Okay, so let's contrast that with the old model. The old model is like the Steve Jobs archetype.
The solitary genius.
The solitary genius on the stage, wearing the black turtleneck, holding up the device, telling all of us what the future is.
Right. That's hero leadership. Rewired argues that hero leadership fails in a complex, nonlinear world like this. No single human brain can possibly process the complexity of the China strategy, plus the NVIDIA monopoly, plus the Space Kitty mindset all at once.
You need a neural network of people.
Exactly. If the machines are winning by networking their GPUs, then humans have to win by networking our insights. We have to form our own distributed processing grids.
There's a visual in the Future of Leadership Salon section that kind of captures this. It's a sketch, and frankly, it's a mess.
It is total chaos.
It's a mind map that looks like it just exploded. There are arrows pointing everywhere, cartoons, words like purpose, empathy, trust, lead with head and heart. It is definitely not a clean Excel spreadsheet.
But that messiness is the whole point. Real human connection is messy.
Yeah.
The clean lines of a spreadsheet are an illusion of control. The reality is that sketch. But
Yeah.
right in the middle of that chaos, there's a very strange metaphor that I absolutely love.
The kebab stick.
The kebab stick.
Please explain to me why purpose is a kebab stick.
Okay, so just visualize a shish kebab. You have your meat, your vegetables, maybe some onions. Those are all the components of your business, your tech stack, your talent, your capital.
And without the stick.
They're just a pile of ingredients falling into the fire. In a chaotic environment where roles are dissolving and prices are crashing, the kebab stick is the only thing holding the meal together. That stick is purpose.
So purpose isn't just a mission statement you hang on the wall. It's the structural integrity of the entire organization.
Exactly. It skewers all the disparate parts and aligns them. Without that strong central skewer, the entropy of the market just scatters your resources.
I see other words floating around that kebab too. Radical openness, stamina moments. Listen.
These are the so-called soft skills, but in 2026, they are the hard currency. The argument is that as machines handle more of the hard logic, the soft human connection becomes the premium asset.
So the core paradox of the whole book seems to be this. The more advanced the technology becomes, the more deeply human we need to be to survive it.
That is it in a nutshell. We cannot compete on computation. We lose that race every single time. A $10 Chinese AI model will always beat you at math,
Right.
but it can't beat you at collective attunement. It can't beat you at understanding the nuance of a chaotic situation and, making a mojito out of it.
So let's try to synthesize this for everyone listening.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground. We've got the mindset, be the space kitty, embrace Shoshin, practice stewardship.
Yeah.
We've got the context, Silicon Valley DNA going global, the tsunami. We've got the threat, the NVIDIA Pac-Man and the AI price wars. And we've got the solution, the kebab stick of purpose and collective wisdom.
It's a heavy mix.
It really is. But as we sit here on the eve of this book launch, what's the practical takeaway? If I'm listening to this on my commute, what do I do differently when I get to work?
I think the takeaway is about where you place your confidence.
Meaning,
Don't place your confidence in the stability of your role because we know roles are dissolving. Don't place your confidence in the stability of the market because it's being manipulated by these massive players.
okay, so where does the confidence go?
Place your confidence in your ability to adapt and to connect. That's sandbox DNA, the ability to release assumptions. The confidence comes from knowing that even if the weather changes, and it absolutely will, you know how to navigate it because you aren't doing it alone. You're doing it with your wisdom catalysts.
So don't be the solitary genius. Find the others.
Precisely. Look at that messy sketch again. Amidst all the chaos, there are arrows connecting people. That network. That's your safety net.
And that leads us to the final, and I think somewhat provocative, thought that the source material leaves us with. It's a quote over this image of a very modern, abstract building.
Yeah. There are an infinite number of variables that operate in an infinite number of random and nonlinear ways. Are you prepared?
Are you prepared? It's not asking, do you have the answers? It's asking, are you prepared for the randomness?
It challenges that illusion of control we all love so much. We love to think we can predict Q3. But in a nonlinear world, preparation isn't about prediction. It's about agility. It's about having that space kitty curiosity that lets you pivot the second the plan falls apart.
It's about knowing that when the lemons show up, and they will show up, you aren't stuck with lemonade. You can negotiate for a lime.
Ideally, yes.
Well, look, the book is Rewired, a collective narrative. It launches tomorrow, February 3rd. If this conversation sparked any bold curiosity in you, it's probably worth checking out. If only to see the full Space Kitty in high resolution.
Definitely. It's a roadmap for a territory that hasn't quite been mapped yet.
And hey, in the meantime, maybe find a moment today to unleash your inner astronaut cat. Release an assumption or two. Just see what happens.
Explore with a desire to understand.
Exactly. Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.